So let's destructure the objects in this lecture. Okay. In previous lecture, we have seen like how we can destructure the arrays. So let's see how we can destructure the objects. Okay. And one more thing which I forgot to mention in the previous lecture is that this destructuring came into ES6. That is why I've mentioned the definition of the destructuring here for your reference. Okay, so now we'll use again the same object, but this time we have this additional block as well, this opening hours which contains Monday, Wednesday, Friday with open and close timing. So now let's use it. Okay, so first we will see how we can destructure an object, and for that I need to open the inspect, and from here you can set like how you want the console to open. Okay, if in case I forgot to mention it in any of my previous videos, so this way you can arrange it accordingly. And yeah, so the syntax for the destructuring of objects is this curly braces. Okay, so in array we have used the square brackets to destructure. In objects, if you want to destructure, you have to use the curly braces, and then again the variable declaration and the object which you want to destructure we are using here. And here, regardless of index, what you have to do is you have to pass the exact property name which you are getting in this object in order to destructure it. Okay, you don't have to worry about the index of that particular field. All you need to do is you just need to pass the same property in order to pick it out from the object. Okay, so if I want to destructure opening hours, then I have to pass exactly same property name here. And with opening hours, if I want to destructure this front end courses as well, then I have to pass front end courses. And see, order here doesn't matter at all. I've wrote opening hours first and then front end courses second, so that doesn't matter. What does matter is you have to pass the exact same property name to destructure it. Okay, now let's log it out. So let's copy this and let's paste it here. Okay, so we got our objects out of this parent object. Okay, we got our properties like this opening hours we are getting, and then this front end courses also we are getting here. Okay, so now we have seen like how we can destructure an object. So this is the basic syntax of destructuring an object. In case if you want to rename the variables, like you don't like the property names which you are getting from the object, you want to rename it, then how you can do that? So the syntax for that is, let me actually duplicate it and let me comment it out. I'll mention here. Destructured properties actually. Okay, so all you need to do is you just need to use a colon, and then you can specify like whatever you want to be the name for this particular property. Let's say open hours instead of opening hours, and then here instead of front end courses, if you want it to be like fe courses. So now as you can see, VS Code can easily sense and it differentiated between the property and the aliases. Aliases in the sense like the name which we have used for that property. Okay, So now if we log out these two, and if you have noticed, now opening hours is not defined, it is saying, because we have set some other name for this. So now if you log this one, then only you will get the actual value, because you have changed the name for that particular property. Okay, see, after passing the new names which we have set here for the properties, now we are again getting those results back. Okay, so this is a sort of nice addition to JavaScript, like this destructuring things. And let me tell you guys one thing. Like the purpose of destructuring, why we use it, what is the use of it? Because in real world you won't get the data like this every time. Like you won't get the hard coded data. The data source will be basically the API responses, the third party APIs, or like the backend APIs. From there you will get the data in JSON format. Okay, and there you won't know like which field you are getting and which field you are not getting. Okay, so in that case this destructuring thing is really a lifesaver. Okay, so now I'll show you a case where we can pass the default values. So let's say you are expecting a property in an object, but in response you didn't got it. Okay, so how you will handle that? So let's create an example for that as well. Let's comment it out. Setting default values. Okay, so again I'll remove this. So let's say you are getting opening hours, you are expecting opening hours to come, but somehow this opening hours property is not there. Then how you will handle it, how you will set a default value? So the syntax is same like the array destructuring. You have to use the equals to, and then you have to pass the empty array. Okay, and then here I have to use this opening hours back to make it work. And yeah, see, right now we are getting this object because it is already there. That is why here it is not setting it as empty object. Now let's uh, use a new field. Let's say what I can use is, let's say, location. Okay, so location property is not there simply. Location has already been declared at line number 1. I think somewhere we have declared it. Locations, let's say. Okay, so let's use it instead of opening hours. Okay, so now this location property is not there in this particular object. Okay, so that is why it is setting, JavaScript is setting empty array as a default value for this, right? If we don't use this empty array as a default value, then you will get undefined. Okay, because undefined is a fallback value which gets set for the variables which does not have any value. Okay, or which is not there in the object, but somehow we are trying to access it. Okay, so in that case you should use this default value to handle that particular property. Okay, and then I'll show you an example where we can use the aliases or the new name renamed variable, and here also we can set the default value. Okay, so front end courses, let's say JavaScript, Angular, React, Vue, and here also we can use this empty object, empty array. Okay, and now if I comment it out, then see, I started getting this empty array here as a fallback value. as a default value for this particular key. And now we are using the new key which we have used for renaming this particular property, right, which we are getting here. So again, if I remove this, then what will happen? You will get the undefined back. Okay, so this is how we can set the default values for the properties to handle the edge cases. Okay, so we have seen like how we can destructure an object. We have seen how we can rename the object properties after destructuring. We have seen how we can set the default values. Now it's time for the mutation. How we can mutate some properties. So let's say we have some variables like let x equals to 2 and y equals to 4. Okay, so now how we can mutate it? I want to change the value of x and y. How I can do that? I have created one object which contains x as 21 and y as 41. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to change these two values. I want to replace basically these two values with these two values of x and y. How I can do that? How I can mutate it? So let's see. So before that, I want to show you one thing. So we'll use this curly braces, right, to destructure any properties. Let's say x and y. We know that now, right? So I'll use this example object. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we started getting this error here. Unexpected token equals to at line number so and so, which is coming from here. Why is that so? So we are using this curly braces. So JavaScript consider it as a code block. Okay, it won't consider it as a destructuring syntax. So in simple words, we cannot assign something to a code block. That is why you are getting this error. Now what is a workaround for this? The workaround for this is you need to simply wrap it around with the parenthesis. Okay, so now if I try to log, actually I need to move this upwards. Okay, so now if I try to log this x and y, let's see what happens. X comma y. Okay, see, now for the value of this x and y, we started getting 21 and 41, which is coming from this object. If I comment it out, I'll get 2 and 4. Okay, which is coming from here. But in this line, we have mutated it. So this is how you can mutate the value in an object. I'll write it down here. Values, or we can say variables. Okay, now so far we have seen all these things, but the thing which we have missed is like how we can access a nested property, because as you can see we have a nested property as well, right? So let's see that how we can do that now. Accessing the nested properties. So we have already, I think, destructured it somewhere here. Okay, so we will use this front end course or opening hours, let's say. let's use this one because this have the nested objects, so it will be nice application. For example, uh, yeah. So again, in this opening hours, what I need to do is I need to use the same properties which we are getting in this opening hours, like this Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's take Monday. Okay, let's log it. Okay, so in this log we started getting this open at 10 a.m. and closes at 5 p.m. Okay, now this object also, this property also contains an object, right? How we can access these two now? So the syntax is a little weird, it is a little confusing for you guys, but don't worry, we are here to make everything easy, right? So what you need to do is you just need to write it like an object as a property for this. Okay, so this is a syntax. Now here you just need to write the exact same property which you are getting inside of Monday. Okay, open and close. So here we will write open and then close. Okay, now we don't have to use this Monday, we have to use this open and close. Open and close. Okay, so now we started getting the 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. which is coming directly from here for this Monday object. All right, now again if you want to rename it, you can rename it like this, opens, and then this opens, you have to use it instead of this open, then again it will start working. Okay, if you want to set some default value, you can set the default value as well. Everything will be same. All you need to do is if you want to access the nested properties, you have to write it like this. And again guys, one thing you need to keep in mind, you don't have to memorize all these things at once. Okay, so if you are working and if any use case comes which is related to this, then what you can do, you can simply come back to this video and watch all the things which you need from this video, right? So these are all the possible things which we can do in destructuring. Okay, so whenever you need something, you just come back to this video or any of the video and just have a look at it. Okay, so don't worry, you don't have to memorize all these things at once. We are just seeing like what all things are there. Okay, so now we are done with all the examples.